Have you ever tried to escape through a burglar proof? Certainly not, because that seems impossible. But the impossible has been made possible here at the Center for Settlement Studies at the KNUST campus. The center has been able to develop a burglar proof that gives you an escape route in case of an emergency or a fire outbreak. This is what we are bringing you on this episode of RnD-Africa. Stay with me, Mamiekwa Otua Kwanyame, and let's unravel this together.
The rationale behind developing this innovation is that we realized that people were getting trapped in their buildings in case of fire outbreak, and they were not able to escape. So against that background, we decided to develop the tech burglar proof window. And it is important to note that this particular invention is backed by law, particularly when we look at the National Building Regulations. 1996, specifically legislative instruments, that is LI 90 clause 1, which states that in the event of any fire outbreak, there should be a means of escape that should be created in as much as different openings are concerned so that people can escape unhurt.
As technology evolves, thieves are also becoming more innovative when it comes to breaking into unsuspecting properties. Although the brains behind the burglar proof or the means of escape have established that the purpose of the innovation was to give users a means of escape during a fire outbreak, it could serve as a means of escape during a robbery, among other relevant usefulness. Typically, burglar proofing is designed to prevent burglars from forcing their way into homes through doors or windows. It is usually a form of physical barrier that is fitted alongside the door or windows. However, while users are focused on protecting themselves and their properties, they fail to consider a means of escaping a building in case of emergencies such as flood, robbery, and fire outbreak.
In this particular version, we introduced the padlock system. But realizing that one could get stuck or trapped in the building when the key for the padlock gets missing, we decided to upgrade that particular prototype. And this time around, we introduced, a locking system whereby you just press and the whole compartment will open and then you can easily escape. Now, we realize that nowadays people are interested in using aluminum frame instead of timber frame. As a result of that, we developed another version, which is the current version, the prototype 3, which is the tech burglar proof window, but this time around with aluminum frame. Now, the unique features are as follows. The first one has to do with the locking system. So the locking system is such that it has a button where you have to press and the whole compartment would open to facilitate, easy escape in case of fire outbreak. Now, the second unique feature has to do with the type of hinges that we introduced. This time around, we introduced the bullet hinges instead of the bat hinges. And then the third unique feature has to do with the fact that a whole compartment has been created. When I talk about a whole compartment, I'm referring to the louver blades together with the carriers, the burglar, the mosquito nets. They are put together to ensure that once you press the button, the whole compartment opens to facilitate easy means of escape.
The Center for Settlement Studies at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology has designed a new metal window which protects against burglary and provides a safe exit during emergencies for its users. The burglar-proof design is made from iron rods fitted with a spring-equipped bar which locks up the system by pulling it downwards. Prior to developing this enhanced burglar proof, the center had tried its hands on 2 prototypes, but none had an escape feature. Through research, A group of 5 from the center made this innovation a reality when they were able to manufacture their third prototype at the center's workshop.
It is important to note that a total of 5 people from the Center of Settlement Studies embark on this particular project. The first person being Professor Divine Ahaji. He conceptualized the design, and then thereafter the remaining 4 designed, put the idea on paper, and then it was given to the workshop staff, and then they manufactured the tech burglar-proof window. Best of my knowledge, I'm not so sure whether currently the technology that we've developed is available in the market. So maybe we have to do some market survey or market search, to find out whether somebody has developed the same technology.
The center is yet to commercialize its innovation. However, upon request, the center installed one of the burglar-proof at the residence of a lecturer at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology.
The professor that we installed the burglar-proof for has not come out with any complaint. So that is positive for us, because if there is any fault or anything, it will come to us and come and complain. So since there is no complaint yet, we hope that everything is working well for him.
Now, comparing this particular invention to, the sliding windows that are readily available in the market, we decided to use the louver blade system simply because we realized that it saves a lot of energy when you adapt, the louver blade window type system, simply because you can open the louvers and then you have natural ventilation circulating within the building. However, comparing that to the sliding, we know what the story is. You would have to open, you would have to slide and then get, let's say, one side of the window open, before natural ventilation can circulate within the building. So considering that one, a lot of energy is consumed if you'd have to rely on using the sliding windows. So that is the reason why we decided that no, we need to introduce this particular technology on the louvered type windows, because we realized that in the market the sliding windows are easily in terms of providing a means of escape, but when it comes to the louvered types, it's a bit tricky. Hence, the rationale for incorporating this particular technology on the louvered type windows.
The Center for Settlement Studies come out with the idea that what can we do to save life when there is fire outbreak. So we come out with this padlock system, whereby you remove your padlock, then even when there's fire outbreak, you just push, then you go through. That is the means of escape. So this is purposely done so that when there's fire outbreak, you can escape with your family. We got to know also that as this system is a padlock system, supposing you have misplaced your key, what can you do? Then it's really like the same old system. So the Center for Settlement also come out with this idea that we have to come up with something whereby when you open it, the window, the net, and then the louver blade will be open at a go. And this is a system that we use a knob or button system. So when there's fire outbreak, you just have to press the knob, then you push. Everything will be open, then you escape. And this form is going to help all of us in this country.
terms of security, the system has been built in such a way that it gives you a maximum security. For example, I mean, the current one we have at a workshop is a button system. You press it and then the whole compartment opens. However, we can customize it depending on what, I mean, the customer wants. And additional security features can be introduced, right, to enhance, I mean, opening of the compartment to ensure, I mean, easy escape in case of fire outbreak.
I have heard about the tech burglar proof window with means of escape, and I have found time to come to the workshop department of the Center for Settlement Studies to have a look at it. I am intrigued about the whole idea behind this innovation. It helps to provide an emergency escape during fire. And I think this is something that should be recommended to the hostels. In the hostels where we use all sorts of electrical gadgets and then gas stoves, which could lead to the outbreak of fire, I think this is something that should be incorporated into the housing system. And also looking at the hostels where there are a lot of people. For example, if there is a fire outbreak, there could be a stampede because everyone wants to use the main entrance system. So this means of escape will help occupants of the single room to quickly escape. So I think this means of escape shouldn't be locked up in the workshop studio, but it should come out and then be commercialized for everyone to also use.
In terms of developing the burglar-proof window, the different, I mean, components can be put together within a day, especially if you have a team of 5, like I pointed out. So one coming up with the idea, and then the rest putting the different components together. That is the fabrication of the frame, the means of escape component, and the locking mechanism. However, given the fact that we've done this before, we've perfected it to a very large extent, so we could manufacture even 2 within a day. Concerning the funding of the technology we developed, the college came to our aid, and as a center, we also added some amount to ensure that we were able to develop, I mean, this particular technology. Center for Settlement Studies, we are looking at a situation whereby we can roll out, I mean, this particular technology. However, before we do that, we are looking in terms of partnering with, I mean, various industries, particularly, I mean, the construction industry, so that they'll come on board and assist in terms of finances. And then in terms of the know-how, they can also assist if they have any specific, how do you call it, idea that they would like to bring on board that will enhance this particular exhibit that we've developed. I think it will go a long way to help. My advice to the general public is that particularly our artisans and those who are into developing product for the construction industry, I will encourage them to do their possible best, in a sense that Rome was not built in a day. The reason for saying this is that when we started, it took us some time. We have to do this over and over and over again until, I mean, we got it to the level we wanted it to be. But even that, we are still always working around the clock to ensure that we get an updated version. So the point that I'm trying to raise is that as inventors and innovators, we shouldn't give up, right? We should keep on doing our best and it will go a long way to help, because once you put in a lot of effort, I mean, the end product would be fantastic.
Say no to being stuck in a room because of a burglar proof that does not afford you the access of escaping. This is a new future, and cheers to a continent filled with innovators and inventors. This is where we end the episode on R&D Africa. My name is Mamiokwa Utwakwa Nyame.